Okay. Hello, Lyndon. How are
Hello
you?
there. How are you?
I'm good. I'm happy to see you. I know you're in Japan, in Tokyo or somewhere else.
No, Tokyo. I'm just
Okay.
west of the center. So I'm not living in the big kind of
Yeah,
concrete jungle. I'm in the
amazing.
countryside to the west of Tokyo.
That's
Yes.
beautiful. I have not been to Tokyo. It's on my places to visit. I have a long list of places I want to visit, and Tokyo is certainly on that list.
Yeah.
As by way of introduction, I'm Laura Aziz and I own Meva Solutions. It's my coaching and consulting business. And I work with leaders to accelerate their success. So we work with vision, strategy, and leadership development so they can achieve their goals and rise to their full potential. And I know, Lyndon, you are a coach and a mentor too, and you work with leadership development, helping leaders live to their full potential. So we are aligned here. But you have two unique things. You have a methodology called Lodestone, and you published a book that is a business book, but it's unique in its own rights. The book is called Your Body is Your Business Plan,
Yes.
Avoiding Burnout. And I have never heard of that integration between the budget and the business plan. So these are kind of where I'd like to start our talk today. What would you like to? Do you want to tell us more about yourself? Maybe start there.
Yes. Okay. Yes. Well, I've spent most of my life educating. I'm a university teacher, retired university teacher, linguistics specialist, actually, with many other spokes to my wheel, because I've always worked with the body, with Alexander technique, with Feldenkrais technique. I'm a teacher of both. I'm a meditation teacher, mindfulness advocate, and I work also with indigenous wisdom. So I bring wisdom from, especially from Australian Aboriginal culture, which I had the fantastic pleasure to be part of a few decades ago. So all of this comes together
Yeah.
in my internet presence now as an embodiment specialist.
Yes.
Uh,
That's
I'm rather
fascinating.
more a mentor than a coach, I would
Okay.
say, because for me, coaching is teaching
Hmm.
in a way. And of course, I've done that all my life.
Hmm.
But mentoring is leading the way by example
Okay.
for me. And so in my sessions, for example, I don't have any inclination or even aim to
Mhm.
give knowledge to people.
Okay.
Okay.
Mhm.
What I do is without so much talk,
Mhm.
actually, because I'm also an NLP specialist. And
Okay.
so,
Wow.
as we know,
Mhm.
NLP reveals that we have a script
Uh-huh.
that we have always used,
Mhm.
perhaps, and we're all the time reinforcing the wrong things.
Yeah.
And also, the words we choose may
Yeah.
not be appropriate.
Right.
You know
Right.
what I'm talking about, I think.
Yeah.
So, yes, what I do is I bring people into their central core
Mhm.
on a kind of meditation pathway, if you like.
Mhm.
Um, And once they get into their central core, away from visual overload, away from screens,
Uh-huh.
just with my voice, actually, I use audio transmission. Then once they come into their core,
Mhm.
we start to work on three things,
Mhm.
basically. Um, their breath,
Mhm.
their spine,
Mhm.
and the whole body's ability to listen.
Ah,
Now, this may be kind of strange,
yeah.
sounds strange perhaps to you,
Yes.
but in fact, in the intellectual world, we are persuaded that we have to listen and
Mhm.
everything is concentrated here, the ears, the brain, and so on. But in fact, the whole body
Mhm.
is aware of vibrations.
Mhm.
So it's simply my view of the world is vibrational.
Yeah.
Everything is vibration. So sound is vibration,
Yeah.
and therefore the whole body can tune in to any kind of vibration. So I've had a lot of success with leaders, teaching them how to do whole body listening when they are leading.
Ah.
So instead of projecting and pushing wisdom and knowledge out in a kind of false way, they sit back and they use their whole body to tune into their team or whoever they're addressing.
Yeah.
And of course, whole body listening means that you are so engaged with yourself and with your breath and
Yeah.
with your spine.
Mhm.
And so, therefore, you are so calm,
Mhm.
you are so strong. You give
Yeah.
this very wonderful,
Mhm.
fundamental foundation for people
I love
um,
that.
by simply being.
Yeah.
You
Big.
know.
Yeah. I love that because as you were describing, I had an executive, high level executive, and his main challenge was impatience. He was very impatient with his
Mm,
team because he like can't wait for them to finish what they are saying. He already had the solutions and he was very confident in his solutions, but that alienated his team. So he wanted to work on how to stay calm.
mm,
So whoever is talking, or if there is a team discussion, he doesn't need to interject and
mm,
boss them around. Like he can just
mm.
be calm and listen. So as you
Yeah.
were describing that, I was just imagining how that analogy and that technique can could actually work really well with him. I
Yes.
will I will reach out to him and share that because
Mm,
we were talking about different techniques of staying grounded and allowing the team to
mm,
speak without feeling like he has to interject or stop the dialogue. But I
mm,
think that would also be very helpful to him.
mm.
Amazing.
Well, it's quite a difficult technique to initiate, and I would suggest he needs a guide.
Uh,
Um, and I'd be very happy to help if
mm,
so, if needed. And in 30 minutes, I can really show him how to do this.
that's fascinating.
It's very interesting because it comes from many parts of my background. As well as everything else, I'm a Buddhist and I'm a practicing
Ah,
Buddhist. And
okay.
Buddhist is not a religion to me,
Mhm,
it's a way of life,
mhm,
I don't know how much you and your audience know about
yeah,
it, but basically, the Buddhist teachings are very much about integrating the body, the spirit,
mhm,
and the mind. And then add to that my indigenous wisdom experience and expertise. I learned whole body listening actually in the desert,
uh-huh,
in the South Australian desert, with Aboriginal teachers,
mhm,
and we would be walking along
mhm,
and they would suddenly stop
mhm,
and their leaders would perhaps stand on one leg, which is very characteristic. And it's a real meditation technique as well to stand on one leg
mhm,
and, really center themselves.
mhm.
And at first, we had no idea what they were doing.
What's going on?
What's going on? Yeah, so we all stopped, of
Uh,
course, and very quickly I realized what was happening.
mhm.
The whole body was alert and aware to the environment, like an animal hunting. If you watch a
Wow.
beautiful cat, a
Mhm,
tiger, for
mhm,
example, every skin pore, every hair follicle
mhm.
is aware and alert. There's no interference from the intellectual mind of
Yeah,
concepts.
yeah.
So we
Interesting.
all stopped, and then
Mhm.
he turned to us and he said, "There is a sandstorm coming. We should take cover." Indeed, there was, but it
Mhm.
was 10 miles away. So we took cover
Uh-huh.
and it arrived.
Wow.
So he could sense
Sense
that
it.
by
Yeah.
using the whole body as a kind of magnet.
Mhm.
as a
Yeah.
barometer.
Uh-huh.
And that's how they live. That's how they can survive close to the earth in one of the harshest climates in the world, in the
That's
South Australian
fascinating
desert.
story.
Mm.
Um, yeah, no, I love it. So how so that kind of takes us to the lodestone method, right? Like, do you want to describe the lodestone method and the
Yes,
four compasses? Because I think that's a nice bridge into how it works.
yes, I'd love to.
Mhm.
Okay, so basically, Lodestone, yes, brings together all of these
Yeah.
parts of my background and my
Mhm.
training. Um, and actually, it's a 30-day transmission of
Mhm.
audio.
Okay.
And my claim is, and it does work, it's working beautifully for many people. Within 30 days, if you make this a daily practice, it's
Mhm.
about 25 to 30 minutes each
Mhm.
day. If you put this in the center of your day for 30 days, then within that time, you will get back in touch with your true nature.
Mhm.
So, what happens in life in developed societies is that from the age of 4 or 5
Mhm.
upward,
Yeah.
we start to be conditioned
Oh,
by society, by external expectations, the whole system,
yes.
the job system, the education system. It's all about following the rules
Yeah.
and climbing the ladder and all of this stuff, as you know. So it's conditioning, really. So we are conditioned heavily from
Mhm.
the age of 5 onwards. And that links with our gender, our status, so women go a different route, men
Mhm.
another, this kind of thing. And
Mhm.
so what happens is the layers of social conditioning build up. And there comes a point in early adulthood when people lose touch with their true nature, their authentic self. And so now we can see burnout, imposter syndrome, and this is all because we are not in touch with who we really are. So my lodestone method through audio transmission, through various little meditation exercises, there's an ebook to accompany it, takes somebody right down through those layers, through all those accumulated layers, drills down and takes them back to themselves. And I've had so many people breaking through and breaking down. Wow, I know who I am now, they say, So
Mhm.
with this concentrated meditative pathway, um, shutting out all the distractions, then people can really find out who they are. And they're so moved to
Mhm.
do so. And from
Fascinating.
that point, we can start to build on that. It may need many adjustments in their life. I have other pathways. I have something called the Millionaire Commitment Path, which is meant to go on from the Lodestone Method.
Yeah.
Once they've found their authentic self, then I can guide them how to readjust whatever they're doing in life to really accord with that true nature, with that incredible rediscovery of
And be
themselves,
able to scale. If
and be able to
the
scale.
idea of the millionaire mindset is to
Yes,
scale, right? Mhm.
yes, that's
Millionaire
right.
mindset.
And
Yeah.
I'm doing it, and I'm leading in that way.
Love it.
So yes, I've got various other
Yeah,
programs.
no, I want to pause here a minute because I want to tie it to the theme of the summit. So the theme of the summit is thriving with the AI advantage.
Yes.
However, thriving in itself is sacred in many ways. We need to thrive. And we are trying to find ways to thrive and obviously leveraging AI and the tools that are in our possession now that can help us do things faster, more efficiently. But I read an article that said that people, especially in companies, like properly entrepreneurs as well, are feeling stressed or overwhelmed because now they have to learn new tools every day. Every day there is something new. And then also how to integrate it in their workflow so they can see benefit from it.
Mm.
In addition to the underlying fear is if I use AI and teach it how to do my job or parts of my job, I may be putting myself out of job. So it's
Yes, yes. This is
adding to the stress, obviously, with what
big
we hear
fear.
about layoffs and stuff like that.
Yes.
So that's where I feel the greatest connection between your teaching and how anyone listening to this session realize that yes, we have AI, we're not going to be able to ignore it, and it may be helpful, it may be causing stress in itself, but there are tools in our possession, in our hands, that can help us stay grounded, help us take care of ourselves, help
Mm.
us have a millionaire mindset, a millionaire commitment, that even if there is a layoff and I lose my job, there is more out there, there is abundance, there is opportunity and possibility.
Yes. Absolutely. Well, I really feel that this era
Mhm.
of AI is the most supreme opportunity for us
Mhm.
to really embrace our humanity.
Yeah.
AI is really interesting. In fact, I'm running a challenge starting on the 8th of December, which is called the AI Mirror, because my work has very clearly shown me that AI is a superb reflection of the limited mind.
Mm.
It's programmed by people who are
Yes.
in their minds,
Yes.
okay?
Yeah. Yeah.
In this mind and
Yeah.
not in the boundless
Right.
mind.
Right.
And so, yes, I have discovered lots of problems with AI that
Uh-huh.
result from those limited mind
Ah,
limitations, if you
right.
like.
Yeah, it's not creative. Like the basic
No.
idea behind it, it is fed with lots of information. So
Yeah.
you can leverage it to get information faster, like things that would take a week can be done in few hours. But
Uh,
it's not creative. It's
no.
based on what's already given to it. It's that's kind of
Yes.
the big dichotomy.
Yes,
But
it is. And that's the
yeah.
big kind of test, really, because yes, you have to, I find I have to be very patient with my AI assistant, even though I've trained it
Yeah.
to quite a high level, because it's constantly reverting to limitedness.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, I
so
heard that. I agree with you. What are you using for your AI assistant? What?
I use ChatGPT and I
Okay.
use Notebook
Oh, okay.
together, and I
Right.
find that way I can really
Mhm.
do a lot. Yes,
Yeah.
I can do a lot, but it is a supreme mirror, and I
Mhm.
find myself scolding my AI assistant and saying, "Hey, you're not thinking like I am. You're not
Oh,
thinking like a human. You
okay.
are just working on autopilot." And I think the main problem with AI is rushing.
Yeah.
It rushes off at a tangent and very
Right.
often makes big mistakes.
Yeah.
So, and I think that's a tendency we have
Mhm.
if we
Yeah.
are only here and
Mhm.
not here. So if we're not grounded,
Mhm.
we let this limited mind, as I call it,
Mhm.
take us away. It kind of throws us,
Yeah.
propels us into acting or behaving
Reacting more. Yeah. Reacting to a
and react.
stressor. Yeah. Yeah.
Exactly,
Mhm.
exactly.
Yeah.
And I think once we get an experience of the boundless, unlimited mind, we
Yeah.
no longer react. We
Mhm.
are something much more than just reactionary.
Yeah.
Um, and so, yeah, I think we have a lot to learn
Yeah.
uh, by using AI. And of course, it's a superb information tool. Um, but it really underlines for me how vital it is for us to embrace our humanity fully and to get back to put some lights on in the body,
Yeah.
because many people are not at home in the body.
Yeah, it's if it works right and it saves us time, we should use that time to bank it to take care of ourselves, to be more
Yes. Yeah.
grounded, more connected, more
Yes.
aware, so
Yes.
so it can do some of the automate things that can be automated, some of the routine tasks or repetitive tasks. And we
Yes.
will not go and just watch Netflix if we're going to use it to,
Hopefully. Yes.
yeah, to have quiet time to think, to
Yes.
build our inner strength,
That's
to
right.
maintain ourselves, really. Yeah.
I think one of the things which has come to light during my the last 2 years of my business work is that um, many people don't realize how trapped they are in their limited mind. And so I speak to many coaches,
Mhm.
and they say, yes, oh, I love embodiment and so on. I love this work. And I say, well, what's your experience? And eventually it turns out they've not had any real experience and they're just using the word.
Ah,
And so they're looking from this position at
ah,
it and trying to make it into a strategy.
mhm.
And beyond all things, it is not a strategy and it's not a quick fix. Like many mental strategies, you can buy 12 solutions for this and
Yeah.
300 ideas for this. You can get
Mhm.
strategies on, you know, all
Yeah.
over the place. But this is something so different because it's not a strategy.
It's a
It's,
practice. I think you have to kind of do it
yes,
consistently for 30 days, as you mentioned at the beginning, to
yeah,
start. I mean, 30 days is not gonna get you there. It's not gonna drastically help you
no,
change a behavior that you learned since you were 5 years or 10 years old.
that's right.
So it's
Yeah.
gonna be embracing a new way of life and maybe using AI to do some of the mundane tasks that gives, we are so busy with so many things, but if we
Mm.
can create the time, because what people will tell you, I'm sure you heard that, I don't have time. If you say like,
Yes. Yeah.
my program is 20 to 30 minutes every day, it's like, when can I do that? In the morning I'm rushing, in the evening I'm rushing. When
Yeah.
can I carve out these 30 minutes of me time to build, my inner compass, like
Well,
to,
it does really depend on how you see the concept of
yeah,
time. So
yeah.
this is another thing I teach, that
That's nice.
time is simply a concept. And
Tell us more about that, the concept of time.
yes, above all, we humans are each supreme rulers of our own minds.
Mm,
We can choose,
yeah.
you know, you can choose to feel rushed.
Mhm,
You can choose to feel calm,
mhm.
and you can choose to see time as something circular, which
Oh,
is another indigenous insight.
oh, that's interesting.
There is no such thing as linear time
Mm.
for First Nations. Everything moves around in a beautiful circle, just like the earth.
Yeah,
And
no, that's beautiful. I've not heard that before. That's a new analogy that time is circular. The best analogy I heard about time before this was that time is like a river. It keeps moving, but that's linear, like time is the river, it keeps
yeah,
moving. You cannot stop time, you just need to do the best you can or leverage, your focus, your energy, but you cannot stop time. But circular is a very interesting perspective. I need to think about that,
Mm.
see how
It's
to.
so nice because it liberates one from any kind of rushing. Now, of course, this brings us to goal setting, and that's another huge topic that I deal with because I work with mindful goals, and they are inside, not
Mm.
outside.
Wow.
So once you start to really get in touch with your values, once you've done my 30-day training to
Mhm.
center you and get you back in touch, reconnect to you,
Yeah.
then the next stage is to really start to look at your behavior
Mhm.
and how you are uh, projecting yourself into the world. And of course, at this moment in time, there's a big hue and cry about authenticity and
Mhm.
presence.
Mhm.
Well, you can never be present if you're only here.
Mhm.
It's about your whole body. It's about your unique DNA, which is, you know, transmitting. So if you like, the analogy with lodestone, the ancient form of magnet,
Yes.
is very, very important because we are human magnets
Mm.
if we are really balanced. And so the one ancient rule of the universe, which has always existed, is very simple: like attracts like.
Ah,
So if you are stressed and short of time, then of course you're going to attract others who are similar, but you're also going to attract the idea that time is your master and you are the slave, when in fact it's the other way around. So, if you view all of that, you'll find that you are in control. You have to be in control. And I think, talking of leadership, many leaders are not in control. They are really governed, bullied almost by strategies, by methodology. You know,
deadlines.
yeah,
Deadline.
yes,
Right. Yeah.
deadlines
Yeah.
especially. And so they are not in control. And
Mhm.
of course, that means their body and their spirit doesn't feel safe.
Yeah.
Safety, of course, we're hearing that a lot now
Yes.
as well. So
Psychological safety. Yeah.
yeah, but it starts in the body. It
Yeah.
starts in the nervous system, not in the mind.
Yeah.
And once our nervous system is grounded and we have our natural rhythms working and we are, in tune with ourselves, then all of those problems disappear because they're only concepts
Yeah.
after all. And then we take control of our lives. So, harking back to what I said earlier about self-dependence, I'm a great advocate of self-dependence. We think other people influence us.
Mhm.
Well, of course, there is that possibility. But if we are truly aligned with our values, our inner values, if we are truly committed to ourselves as beings of light, beings of wisdom, then, we will always be grounded and we can work from that
Yeah.
position of strength, huge
That's
strength.
amazing. That's amazing. I like the idea of strength, and I like to in my coaching, and also it's a personal philosophy that you leverage your strength to become stronger.
Yeah,
So, like
yeah.
even if you use different techniques, like there is no one way to honor, who you are and embrace the strength and lean into it. And
Mm,
what you're saying and your methods would help someone who is triggered, stressed out, worried, like this sense of complete, always all the time worried about the future, uncertain, I will lose my job, I will run out of money,
yes.
whatever. Um,
I'm so sad that there's so much fear in the world, but
yeah.
it's absolutely true. There's so much fear.
Mhm.
And people don't realize that they have all they need inside them
Mhm.
to really dissolve all
Yeah.
those fears and anxieties and completely avoid burnout. One of the most important pieces of work I do in everything is to work on the vagus nerve.
Mm.
Now, maybe you've heard of the vagus nerve. It's
Yeah.
the 10th cranial nerve. It's
Mhm.
connecting the cranium to the gut, the heart and lungs, and the into the arms.
Yeah.
And this is connected with whole body listening, which I
Yeah.
mentioned earlier.
Yeah.
First Nations people have hugely strong, toned up vagus nerve. That's why they can do such amazing things that we can no longer do. But if we live in an urban situation, I can show people how to strengthen and tone up their vagus nerve. And this is the essential thing for avoiding burnout,
Yeah.
because burnout is really only well, not only, but it's a huge damage to the nervous system
Yeah.
that is constantly
Yeah.
being battered.
Yeah.
Um, and so we don't realize we are burning out
Mm.
because the vagus nerve does not send the signals that we need to say, hey, I've got to stop doing this.
Yeah.
This is not good. We're not getting those signals. And
Mm.
so people are burning out, and then they don't realize they're burning out. And then once it starts to happen, very, very difficult to recover. I've
Yes.
got I'm working with 3 years, not
Mm.
recovered yet from
Mm.
burnout. So
Mm.
it's essential to get the
Yeah.
signals.
It,
So my audio
early detection.
transmission
Yeah. Mhm. Yeah.
builds up your vagus nerve
Yes.
strength. So you're now able to go into your body and say,
Mhm.
yeah, this doesn't feel right. I'm doing the wrong thing.
Mhm.
I've got to change. I've got to do something different, you know.
Yeah.
So it's physiological as well
It
as
is. It is. So what would be one or two techniques before we wrap up to share with people listening, one or two techniques that can help them regulate their nervous system, calm down the
mm,
vagus nerve, and then we
mm.
can go deeper in a follow-up, maybe discussion where we talk just about that and give more details. But so I
Okay.
want to give people a couple of techniques to bring their nervous system down and feel calm,
Mm.
and then how they can reach you if they want to get more information.
Super. Thank you. Yes, okay. Now, one of the most important things in a practical sense that everybody needs to try to do is to examine very closely the words they are constantly saying.
Mhm.
I mentioned this earlier, and the idea is that words are symbols,
Mhm.
like images. They're symbols.
Mhm.
So what I do in my work is I go underneath those symbols.
Mhm.
What is behind those symbols or below those symbols? So we can do this for ourselves quite easily if we become more aware
Mhm.
of the words we're using. Now, a good example of this is affirmations. Many coaches will say, oh, yeah, here's an affirmation.
Mhm.
Say it repeatedly and something will change. Okay. Well, it doesn't work like that
Mhm.
because each word has vibrations
Mhm.
underneath it. So each word has a set of vibrations.
Mhm.
And if you imagine your body is a set of vibrations, a
Mhm.
constellation of amazing number of vibrations, all your inner functions, your breath, your blood flow, all of that. And so the words that we say, if they're really going to work
Mhm.
on ourselves and on the people we're talking to, need to be connected to that vibrational constellation. So I do a lot of work with words, and I'll give you a quick example.
Mhm.
I worked with one person who was experiencing terrible back pain, low back pain, and she contacted me and said, "Could I help?" So I said, "Yes, we're going to use some words." And she said, "Oh no, I've tried affirmations; they don't work." So we looked at how she had used
Yeah.
the affirmations, and it turns out that she was simply repeating the words like a parrot, you
Oh.
know, and not feeling the vibration of every word. So I said, okay, let's take this word
Mhm.
my. And she listened, and I said, just say the word my. Feel it vibrating down into your chest. My. And now you can add my low back pain. So she enunciated these words very slowly, burst into tears, and then looked at me and said, I've got no pain. It's gone. So what is happening here is that the limited mind is rushing off and saying the words with no sense of what
Connection.
they actually mean and no connection. That's it. So once I very simply pointed out that she should connect those words to her, and it was her pain, the whole thing disappeared, and she is now, superbly strong and healthy. So one good thing to do each day, catch yourself saying something, whether it's to your partner or to your team or whoever, and retain it and then go and work on it
Mm.
in a quiet space. It might be a quotation, it might be some advice you're giving or an instruction.
Yeah.
Take it away and then say it so that it vibrates through your whole body.
Mhm.
And once you feel your body vibrating, and even the sounds and feelings even going down into your feet,
Mhm.
go back and say it again. And you will find everybody in the room is awake to what you've said. You're
Wow.
magnetic. So it's a form of magnetism.
Yeah.
We can use words so powerfully. And if you look at the great leaders,
Yeah.
wow, what incredible orators they were, and how incredibly embodied they were.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
fascinating. So, how can people find you?
Ah, okay. I've only given one technique, but maybe that's a good reason to
That's
have a
okay. We can
follow-up.
say, if you have a second one, this was so profound, but if there is a second one that people can easily hang on to it and use it.
Okay. Okay. Well, if there's time, then yes, this is another very profound thing. But if, of course, people advocate deep breathing. So
Uh,
if you're getting stressed, okay, pause and take 3 deep breaths. People say, okay, well, that's great, and it's a good start. But when you take your breaths, preface it by saying or thinking, my breath is my anchor,
oh,
and my breath anchors me to here and now. So the one important thing about the breath is that it is absolutely here and now.
mhm,
You can't breathe in the past, you can't breathe in the future.
mhm,
It brings you to here and now.
mhm,
So if you breathe, please see your breath as an anchor
mhm.
and know that this is reality here and now. There is no other place. Everything else is a concept. Everything else is a dream.
Yeah.
Your
So it's
breath,
presence in a way. The breath is our
right.
presence. We're
That's
alive and breathing. If it stops,
that's
it's a
right.
different story.
Yes. And it's also our link with an incredible relationship, which many of us don't feel grateful for. That is with the earth.
Yeah.
So without the earth, we
Yeah.
couldn't exist.
Right.
It gives us oxygen,
Yeah.
and we would die if we didn't have this amazing relationship with the earth.
And it's shared. It once occurred to me. I went into a big conference, and there were lots of people. It was right as COVID was kind of under control, and all of
Mm.
a sudden, I thought all of us are breathing the same air here.
Absolutely, yes. That's another topic. But yes, breathing with your team is
Mm.
important.
Yeah, that's a
And
very good point. I
that
love it.
the culture of your team, you all
Yeah,
are breathing in the same way.
there is some unity in it. I think, like if you think
Yes,
about it this way. Yeah,
yes, there is indeed.
amazing.
Thank
Thank you
you.
so much, Lyndon. And then how can they find you? How can someone who really needs to speak with you, how can they find you?
Okay, super. Well, I have a website,
Mhm.
so you can see my name on the
Yeah.
screen, Lyndon Thorpe, and it's lindenthorpe.com.
.com.
That's
Okay,
all.
great. Yeah.
And everything is there, and there's an article library there, and all my techniques are available there, Lodestone and so on. But my main platform is LinkedIn, so
Uh,
you can always find me on LinkedIn. So drop me a message
yeah.
and I'll contact you, or go to my YouTube channel.
Okay.
And you can find my YouTube channel on my website, the link.
Yes, yes.
channel
That's
name.
beautiful. Yeah, LinkedIn is easy to find, and all of us use LinkedIn.
Yeah.
And obviously your website is your name, and it's here on the screen,
Dot.
lindenthorpe.com.
Yeah.
And they
That's
can message you from there, right? They can send,
yes.
yeah.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yes.
Very good.
Anytime. Yes.
Well, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. And
Oh, my pleasure.
maybe we'll have a sequel to that. There is a lot to
I
be
hope
said
so.
here.
Yes. Oh, it's been a great pleasure to speak
Thank
to your
you.
audience and to you, Laura. Always.
Thank
Thank you
you.
so much.
Thank you.